Hi, I'm Nathan and welcome to Ninja Monkey, the place for all things related to Japan, where I'm currently focusing on what's going on behind Japan's closed borders. My aim is to put all the readily available information into one place to make it easy for you to follow what's happening behind Japan's closed borders so that you can make informed decisions leading to hopefully answering the question, when will Japan's border open? And as always, all links are included in the video description so that you can do your own reading if you wish to. Timestamps are also available for your convenience too. As I continue to keep a close eye on what's happening behind Japan's closed doors, I continue to believe that keeping up to date with the latest information and news related to what's happening as a result of the virus is perhaps one of the best things you can do in the meantime, as sometimes these signals are good indicators of future action. I also continue to believe that keeping informed regarding relevant statistics is important, such as my belief that Japan striking a good balance between cases nationwide and the vaccine rollout will be a crucial part of how Japan slowly opens up its border, perhaps in staggering entry stages and even perhaps depending on the situation of your home country too. But this is just me speculating, and we will indeed have to wait and see what happens. So let's have a look at what's happening regarding cases in Tokyo and nationwide in Japan since my last update. I've presented on screen some stats for you, including nationwide cases, Tokyo's numbers and the amount of PCR tests done nationwide. So feel free to pause the video if you want to. All stats are up to date to the latest government officially available data since the release of this video update. In my midweek update, I explained that Japan is set to extend its state of emergency once again from the end of the month until September the 12th. It's not surprising considering that the nationwide total of cases has topped 25,000 for 3 days in a row, as Tokyo reported 5,074 new cases on Saturday, and the 7-day average of new cases in Tokyo rose to 4,718 from 4,231 last week. And it's not just Tokyo that is showing an increase in infections. Other large urban areas have also reported near record positives. For example, Kanagawa Prefecture reporting 2,705 cases and 9 deaths, and Osaka Prefecture seeing 2,556 cases and 2 deaths. More alarming is the fact that the experts say that there is a possibility that there are many cases that are not being detected. It therefore seems that either the current state of emergency is not working, don't go far enough, or that state of emergency fatigue among locals that have spent nearly most of 2021 in what feels like a perpetual twilight zone has set in and measures have become normalized and therefore less effective. However, Japan's governors have urged the central government to consider imposing a lockdown, calling the current situation ineffective. An article in the Japan Times says that the governors echoed calls by some people in the country seeking more drastic measures such as lockdowns that have been imposed in other countries. But Prime Minister Suga has expressed doubt over the effectiveness of those steps. Interestingly, the article also mentions that Suga will not lift the state of emergency until the provision of medical care is secured. My question is, how much longer can a state of emergency go on for? Previously, there have been 5 criteria looked at when extending, putting into place or lifting a state of emergency: hospital occupancy, the number of coronavirus patients, positive test rates, daily infections, and the number of intraceable cases. Moving forward, 2 new factors will be looked at. That's the vaccination rate and the number of severely ill patients, changing its focus away from the daily cases and onto new data points. So my first question to you is, did your country do some sort of stricter lockdown? Do you feel it had an effect? And if so, do you think Japan should follow the experience of other countries? So let's follow on to how things are progressing in regards to the vaccine drive. As of the 20th of August, which is the most up-to-date officially available information since the publishing of this video, there have now been a total of 115,739,998 doses administered. That's actually 8,658,427 more than last week's updates and includes first and second doses, meaning that the program continues to provide over 1 million daily doses as originally promised a few months ago. So let's break down these figures to fully understand where those doses are actually going. 65,212,896 make up people who have only had 1 dose, and 50,527,102 make up those who have received both jabs and would therefore be considered fully vaccinated. That means that out of a population of around 126 million people, 51.3% have now received one dose of the vaccine and 39.7% have received both doses of the vaccine. And for more clarity regarding the elderly, which are usually considered the most vulnerable group and make up people 65 years of age and older, 85.4% of those wishing to take the vaccine are now inoculated with both doses. I receive many comments and messages regarding working or wanting to work in Japan, and many questions asking about when will business or working visas become available. So it is evident to me that Japan is a popular destination in this respect. However, an interesting article in Nikkei Asia states that concern is growing in Japan that indispensable foreign workers will turn away from its domestic industry in the near future. Competition for manpower with China is cited as one of the main reasons among many others. This article doesn't really mention COVID restrictions as the major factor, but I am wondering if any of my viewers have, as a result of being unable to enter the country, changed their plans or reached a point of frustration where you might decide to change your work travel plans. And for those of you who are waiting to enter, I'd love to know the main reason for wanting to train or work in Japan. What does Japan offer that exceeds that of other countries? I'm really interested in your reasons for wanting to work in Japan. So on this next story, could robots serving burgers be on the menu on your next trip to Japan? Japan's Moss Burger, which actually I frequent when I'm visiting Japan and I fancy a quick Western style meal and I want to avoid the obvious McDonald's and Burger King, has introduced a robotic service. You can now order a meal and have it brought to your table without interacting face to face with any employee. Interestingly, the robot operator is not inside the burger restaurant, but instead, this remote service is run by a person living hundreds of kilometers away in the northern Japan's Akita prefecture. The operator suffers from a disability. Though the pilot program runs only until the end of August, Tokyo Moss Food Services will evaluate its results as one possible solution to an anticipated staff shortage when the pandemic-hit economy reopens. The robot is not Moss Burger's first experiment with remote services. Employees working remotely can provide direct assistance to customers through a special self-checkout system that debuted in November 2020 at the Tokyo headquarters shop. This system itself is an upgrade of a pilot launched in 2020 that let customers chat with remote staff when placing an order. The service runs between 2 and 5 p.m. on weekends until the end of August at the company's head office store in Tokyo Shinagawa Ward. I really hope that this really does catch on. Not only will it potentially employ a perhaps housebound disabled person, but it sounds like a novel way and a fun way to receive food in what feels like science fiction. I would certainly be interested in experiencing this in the future. How do you feel about this scheme? Would you visit a restaurant where robots operated by people across the country serve you food? Or would you prefer a normal human service? I'm interested in knowing what your thoughts are on this one. So, as always, thanks so much for watching this far and staying tuned. It must mean that you like this type of content so far, so please consider subscribing if you haven't already and press the bell notification to keep up to date with any future content. Every week, I like to answer or highlight a comment, so if you have something that you'd like me to answer or just an opinion on, then start sending in the questions and I might select yours to feature. Viewer Aaron J says, so why do you still want to go to Japan? Me? Loved ones and long history to lean on. First-time visitors. What still draws you into this country? Firstly, thank you so much for reaching out and spending time in the comment section. I really do think that this is the question directed to all viewers and one that I'd like to ask and know too. Although I'm not a first-time visitor, I'll answer why I'm still drawn to Japan. Personally, Japan is one of those countries whose culture I feel continues to remain true and relatively not majorly westernized. I love exploring places where people might not know how to speak English, not have the menu in English, etc. Other than that, I do have friends and I look forward to catching up with them. And I also have a very long list of experiences and places I yet have to visit. Additionally, as a terrible Japanese language learner, I feel that it's when I'm in Japan and forced to speak that I have the most interesting experiences. So, for all of you viewers out there, what draws you to Japan? What continues to draw you to Japan even after all this time? I'd love to know, so let's get a conversation started in the comment section. I do try to respond to as many as I can, and I'd love to know your thoughts. And if you have any links or interesting insights or interesting information you'd like to share with us, please get in contact with me and I might include it in a future video too. So if you're still watching, then hopefully it means that you've liked the video, so please support me by pressing the like button, as it tells YouTube that you're interested in this type of content. And if you want to take your support one step further, how about sharing the video in some other social platform too? So that's the end of the video. Thanks very much for watching. Till next time, arigatou gozaimasu, gracias, thanks, and bye.